football fans? Welcome to another episode of Anything Football, hosted by me, Coach Chris, broadcasting to you from the confines of my own home, broadcasting to you from Buffalo, New York. Right now we're in the middle of a winter storm, so I'm kind of hunkered down in here. And I thought today would be a good day to attack the AFC North in a preemptive mock draft. Go over what teams in the AFC North, who they're looking to draft, and just give you a quick rundown. Again, we're still about 2.5 months out from the draft, and we will, as the time goes on, we will fine-tune everything, and we'll lock in more. I'll give you my thoughts on what the league analysts and the media are projecting will be the draft, who's drafting who. I'll give you my thoughts on who I think teams should take. But we'll get into that in just a moment. Again, as I said in my first video, and I say all the time, the quality of these videos will get better. Again, I'm novice to this, so yesterday the wife and I, more the wife than me, I sat and watched. We sat down, we went back, and we fine-tuned the YouTube station here and my videos, and my wife and I spent 7 hours revamping this whole channel and everything. So the quality and the content will be better. When you go and look, click on the video, you will see a much more better video than just me popping up saying, hi, how you doing? So kudos to my wife. She's very computer savvy, more than I am, and she deserves a lot of credit. To my beautiful wife, Nikki. So when you go and hit that like button, subscribe button, leave comments, check out the video because the quality is better now, and it will only get better as time goes on. So this was going to be a short video. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because, as I said, we're so far away from the draft right now. Things change. I want to focus on the AFC North real quick. Before I do that, though, I just quickly want to recap the AFC East. I spoke briefly on it last week, and I just want to kind of go over that real quickly. Starting with the Buffalo Bills, my hometown team. Again, Buffalo Bills fan, live, die hard. Got my coffee, as I always do, ready to go. That's some good shit. So let's start with the Buffalo Bills real quickly. I'm just going to gloss over the AFC East and what the projections are for what teams are picking what. The Bills are looking to go defense, mainly defensive linebackers, which they should. They're the only team in the AFC East looking to draft defense. There are talks out there about maybe Richard Sherman possibly coming to Buffalo. He did say that he would play for Buffalo for 2 years for $18 million, which, if you're Buffalo, I think you make that deal. You might have to do away with Matt Milano. I think he's going to be gone from Buffalo this year because he's going to want to get paid. But they're going to be focused more on defense going into this draft, and they should. As far as New England goes, it looks like New England, we don't know the situation with Cam Newton. We don't know if New England is going to stay with Cam Newton another year. There's a lot of heavy talk going on that San Francisco is going to trade Garoppolo to the Patriots. I said I think either way, whether they keep Cam Newton or Garoppolo, I don't think it does much for their, I don't think it boosts their stock at all. I don't see them improving. Of course, they did have a lot of players that sat out last season, most of them on defense because of COVID. So who knows? But I don't understand why San Francisco would want to do away with Garoppolo. Right now, he's the best option they have. They're looking to draft a receiver, according to... no, I'm sorry, not receiver. They're looking to go corner. They're going to be focusing on defense, I think, in the draft. So why they want to trade Garoppolo, the only thing I can think of is they're going to make a pitch to try to get Deshaun Watson out there in San Francisco, which is why they would trade Garoppolo to the Patriots. And I think whether they decide to go with... The Patriots decide whether to go with Cam Newton or Garoppolo. They might just keep both. Who knows? That's the only way I can see the Patriots. If they elect not to go with Cam Newton, I think they do take Garoppolo. So that's the Jets. Or, I mean, not the Jets. That's the Patriots. The Jets, They're just a train wreck. They have been for years. They picked second in the draft. They're looking to go Justin Fields, quarterback out of Ohio State. They're also looking to maybe draft Zach Wilson from BYU. They're going to be looking more offense. They're going to probably go after receivers as well. Their defense is pretty good, but they got a huge quarterback issue. Now, they're probably, I say, they probably got the best chance of trying to get Deshaun Watson, but I don't think Deshaun Watson will want to go to the Jets. And to be honest with you, if you are a quarterback in the NFL and you have the option to go somewhere, I don't think the Jets is a landing place for most quarterbacks. Not to mention that Houston still has Watson under contract, and I don't see Watson holding out for an entire season to be traded. I mean, in order to make that trade, whatever team wants to trade for Watson's going to have to throw in at least 2 to 3 first-round picks and maybe a second and a third in the next couple years draft. But for right now, it looks like they're going to go Justin Fields, quarterback out of Ohio State. They're going to trade Darnold away. I think they've ruined Sam Darnold for what he could be. Of course, I didn't think Darnold was going to be a great quarterback to begin with, but I think they kind of ruined that quarterback. I think the Jets, you go to the Jets as a quarterback, you go there to die. Miami looks like they're going to stay with Tua. I think the reason they're staying with Tua is because they couldn't deal him away. But they're looking again. They're going to go receivers. They got 2 picks in the draft, first round. They're going to go after wide receivers, and I think they're going to do what they can to bolster their offensive line. They're going to be more offense. So 3 out of the 4 teams in the AFC East are looking to go offense. Buffalo being the only team, they're looking to focus on their defense. So now that brings us to the AFC North. Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. Steelers were 12-4 on the season. Ravens and Browns both have 11-5 records. Bengals 4-11. And I'm going to say this real quickly, just to throw this in there. When the 2021 season starts, pay attention to the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're a team on the rise. Burrows is their quarterback. If you watch any of their games, even games that they lost, they were scoring points. That offense for Cincinnati, I think, is going to be very good. If they handle it very smartly, they are going to be good. Burrows is showing that he is going to be a very good quarterback in the league, and I think you're going to see a very potentially high-powered offense coming out of Cincinnati. Again, with this, you have all 4 teams in the conference are looking to bolster their offensive line. That, I think, in the draft is where they're going to focus on. They're going to pick offensive linemen, especially in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they want to get some more protection for Roethlisberger. Right now, it appears that he will be back. You know, they did make the playoffs. They did finish 12-4. It was a good season overall for them. Their last 5 games of the season were train wrecks, though. They completely fell apart. And I think a lot of that is due to protection. They could not get protection. Don't forget the Pouncey brothers just retired, too, this past week. So they're going to look to bolster their offensive line. And right now, it's projected that Pittsburgh is going to take an offensive tackle, a Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame. The Ravens, same thing. The Ravens are going to want to get more protection for Lamar Jackson. They're probably going to draft a receiver too, but he is going to probably be looking to throw the ball more than run. They are also looking to draft Jalen Mayfield, offensive tackle from Michigan. The Browns are the only team that are looking to, with the first round pick, draft defense. They're looking to go defensive lineman Christian Barmore out of Alabama. So they probably want to beef up their defensive line there to help them in the future. The Bengals are looking again. They're also going offensive tackle Penei Sewell out of Oregon, offensive tackle. So 3 out of the 4 teams are looking to draft offensive tackles. Excuse me. Cleveland's looking to go defense. And again, these are just very early preemptive drafts coming out of the NFL. These are more based on reporters for the local teams, local areas that they're covering. But as of right now, it looks like they're going to go want to draft offensive line. And really, when you think about it, the Steelers do need more protection up front. The Ravens do as well. Ravens always have a great defense. Browns have a really good defense. Bengals, they need to beef up their defense. They got a good offense. I think is only going to get better. Again, Burrows got injured last year. Hopefully, if he makes it through the season, he will be a lot better. I think that offense will be better. I think the Bengals are going to be a force to reckon with in the AFC North. Again, none of this, as a Bills fan, is blowing my skirt up a little bit because I still believe that overall in the AFC, Buffalo is the top team in the AFC other than maybe Kansas City. I just don't see these teams being able to hang with Buffalo. But again, we don't know. The draft is always different. And that's not taking into account free agency. J.J. Watt, he's no longer a Houston Texan. There's talks where he's going to land. There's 4 teams out there that are looking to get him, Buffalo being one of them. There's talks about him maybe going to Pittsburgh to play with his brothers. So, and I think the other 2 teams, I don't know what the other 2 teams are off the top of my head, but I think it would be very beneficial if Buffalo were able to make a ploy to get him. If they were able to get J.J. Watt in Buffalo and be able to sign Richard Sherman, whew, oh, the defense will be scary. That defense will be very scary. So, as a Bills fan, I'm hoping that happens. But with salary cap, I don't know what every team's salary cap is, what the numbers are. I'm going to look into that more as we get closer to the draft. So for the AFC North, though, that's basically where we're at. I think this is going to be a more offensive draft than defense this year. And that's primarily because of what the Kansas City Chiefs have done. The mold right now is the Kansas City Chiefs. High scoring offense, a top 10 defense, if you will. That seems to be the recipe to get to the playoffs and potentially get to the Super Bowl. You don't need a great defense. You just need a competent defense that can hold teams off. But you definitely want the kind of offense that Kansas City has. Yeah, now I know that Tampa Bay, which I was thoroughly happy with, I know Tampa Bay just shut their offense down, which if you're Andy Reid, you're going to be back and you're going to improve on that. He's not a guy that makes the same mistake twice. So I would expect a more dangerous offense coming out of KC. But that's the mold. And I think that's what teams are trying to do. They want to go offense. They want to, get their receivers in. They want to get good quality receivers. They want to make sure that their line is beefed up to get more protection to the quarterbacks. Roethlisberger, Jackson, Burrows, they all need protection up front. This is a passing league more now than it was. It's not a running league anymore. It used to be the run sets up the pass. Now it's the pass sets up the run. So this is a completely different league than from what I was used to growing up when it was more running than passing. But nonetheless, this is what the AFC North is looking like. And if I had to make a prediction, Ravens are going to be there, Browns are going to be there. This whole division is going to be a strong division. These 4 teams are going to battle it out, okay? I don't see anybody falling to the back of the pack there. I think this is probably the most balanced division in the AFC right now. They're going to be battling. I really think you're going to see the Bengals make a playoff run this year. I really do. Burrows is a very good quarterback. He's smart, and he's got a nice arm. And I think you're going to see Cincinnati make a playoff run. So I really think if I had to say what team maybe drops back a little bit, I would have to say maybe the Ravens, I think, fall back a little bit. And that's simply because they don't have the wide receivers right now. Jackson is throwing the tight ends, threw the tight ends a lot last year. You know, there is talk that maybe Baltimore will go out and pick up a receiver in free agency. I know Robinson out of Detroit is a free agent, I believe. He might end up at Baltimore. So I think Ravens will go. They'll pick a receiver or two up in the free agent market. The Browns' offense, Odell Beckham's going to be out of there. He's not. I don't think he'll be back this year. He's going to fall somewhere. I think he ends up going in the NFC somewhere. I don't think he ends up staying in the AFC this year. But again, these are all teams that have their quarterback in place, and they're just maybe a receiver or an offensive lineman away from really making a push to go to the Super Bowl. You know, Cleveland beat the Browns in the wild card, and then went on to lose to Kansas City, barely. Bengals, they lost Burrows, I think, halfway through the season, so their season went down the toilet. Steelers pretty much bottomed out in the back half of the season, and just, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just choked their season away. So, again, I still think the AFC North is going to be the toughest division in the AFC. All four teams are going to battle it out. AFC East, as I said before, I think Buffalo owns the AFC East right now. I don't think Miami is close to making a playoff run, and that is based on Tua and their receivers. If they do draft receivers in this draft, it depends. I mean, it's seldom that wide receivers come in and their first year blow up. They're not Julio Jones, they're not Fitzgeralds, Stephon Diggs. I mean, they could be. They're looking to get Devonta Smith from Alabama. He's a good receiver. So, I don't know. But I just don't see Miami really. I think they go above 500, but I don't see them making the playoffs. I think the Patriots are still. I think if the Patriots don't make playoffs this year, you might see Belichick retire. You might see him retire. I think this year for Belichick, it's Super Bowl or bust because of what Tom Brady did in Tampa Bay. And he is going to, if they don't have a playoff season at least, he is going to come under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of criticism. The Ravens, again, not the Ravens, the Jets. The Jets are a tire fire. Always has been, always will be. I don't see them getting their act together, so I don't see the Jets making a playoff run. Again, in the AFC North, I think the Steelers, even if they make the playoffs, I think if they don't make the Super Bowl, you're going to see Mike Tomlin's job in jeopardy. I think the same goes for John Harbaugh. Stefanski, who is the coach in Cleveland, he's going to be there for a few years. I can't remember who the Bengals coach is, but I think the Bengals are on the rise again. So again, just to recap, the AFC North is looking to go offensive line. Bengals are the only team in that division looking to go defense. And they might go offense in the second, third round. We haven't gotten into any of those. I don't really care to talk about the second, third round, fourth round picks. Those are just role players, fill-ins. The top 32 is the only thing I'm really going to be focusing on. And again, this is not. This is just something I got off of the NFL website. This is not a Mel Kiper Jr. or a Todd McShay mock draft. These are just reporters reporting teams that they're covering as to who they think they're going to take going into the draft. Things change. We got 2.5 months out before we get there, so a lot can change. Trades are still going to happen. Free agency is going to happen. So all that is going to shape and mold how these teams draft when it comes draft day, which is in late April. So, having said that, I was going to maybe end this video, but I did say last week that I was going to talk a little high school football, and I'll just briefly cover that real quickly. We up here in Western New York are looking to start high school football up in a month from now. We're due to start practicing in March. which is good. Section 6, or the New York State Athletics, have determined a 5-game season with playoffs instead of a 7-game season. So it looks like we're going to have a spring football season, which will be, I think, a first in football history, high school football history. I don't know. But nonetheless, it is good. I can promise you, next video, I'm going to not talk about the NFL or college. College right now, we're gonna be on. It's gonna be on hiatus. I'm not gonna talk much college football other than who's coming out for the draft because, well, quite frankly, don't need to talk about college football right now. So, next video is gonna be completely on high school. And what I mean when I say high school, I mean I'm gonna go over a little bit X's and O's for defensive high schools, because I recently was handed a playbook for high school defense, and I said this before, it was just completely ridiculous. I mean, it was like that thick. That's just overkill. So I'm gonna go over defense basically next week for high school football. We're gonna give it I'm gonna give it the KISS mark. Keep it simple, stupid. Some of these high school coaches, they get into their heads that they try to come up with these elaborate defenses, and they want to throw in everything possible into these defenses when you literally do not have time to do that, because high school football season is so short and the preseason is so short. It's not NFL where these players come in and they study playbooks and films all year round. That doesn't happen in high school. So I'm going to just talk about defense and how to simplify it. I'm going to probably start with defense. I'm going to do a 3-4 one video, a 4-4 the next video, a 4-3, a 5-3, and I'm going to try to cover as many of the defense, and just to give you a simple breakdown on how to cover offenses and how many blitzes you need, how many coverage and stunts you might need. Again, you don't need to go elaborate, but I'm going to do all that. I'm going to try to set all that up for the next video and briefly discuss why, just to show everybody why high school coaches get a little ridiculous with their defenses and how simple it really is, that you don't need to have all this extra stuff in your defense. And then eventually we'll go to offense. I'm more of a defensive guy than I am offense. Again, mind you, because I say this and show you these things does not mean that my way is the best way. I'm not saying that. I'm not claiming that. Everybody's got their own method of doing things. I'm not saying mine's right or wrong. And I just think, I look at it from a more simpler approach. Because whenever you do defense or offense, whatever system you put in, you have to understand the talent that you have. You can't run and gun and have a passing offense if you don't have talent and speed at the receiver positions and a quarterback that could actually throw the football. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You gotta be smart in how you choose your offense and your defensive system. So, having said that, again, we spent a lot of time yesterday, and when I say we, I mean my wife. We spent a lot of time on fixing this YouTube channel and making the quality much more better. And I'd like to give a shout out to my wife for that. So when you go to my channel, Anything Football, make sure you're hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, leave comments down. But the quality of the video and the content of the video is much, much more better. And again, that's pretty much all the credit to my wife for that one. I'm going to praise her a lot because she is a computer guru. I'm pretty computer savvy, but not as savvy as she is. So quality is getting better, as I promised, and it will only continue to get better. So again, Anything Football, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think. pass the word around. I want to get myself out there, and let's make this thing blow up and get much more better. With that in mind, I hope everybody's staying safe, stay healthy, stay indoors if you're dealing with this storm, winter storm, and I will see you sometime later in the week. Probably Friday will be my next video. I don't know. Having said that, though, take care, stay healthy, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And this is Coach Chris, and I will see you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.